begin the battle for the AFC Championship from the studio on the Subway postgame show. And Cundiff, a Pro Bowl kicker a year ago. Wide left from 32.
Who would have thought that the events of that day's game would give us some of the greatest highlights in Ravens history, but also be the beginning, possibly, allegedly, of the making of a predator? After the loss to the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, the Baltimore Ravens had a decision to make. Would they keep in Billy Cundiff to be the kicker, even though you could see that his skills were diminishing? And you can debate this, he lost the game for us. It was an easy, short kick that could have sent the game into overtime. Granted, you can blame Lee Evans, but the kicking game is something that had needed to be improved during that season. So after that game and during the 2013 offseason, the Ravens had Billy Cundiff and undrafted rookie kicker Justin Tucker battling it out to see who would be the kicker for the Ravens going forward. I'm not going to lie to you. I was one of those ones that wanted Justin Tucker to win the job. Billy Cundiff has showed me time and time again he was not that guy. So I thought that we needed some new blood. I thought that Justin Tucker had kicked well enough to become the Ravens kicker of the future. But little did we know all the things that would happen. Nobody believed that he would become the greatest, most accurate kicker of all time. But nobody else also knew all the things that were going to happen going forward. So right after the Baltimore Ravens lost their divisional playoff round game to the Buffalo Bills, Ravens flock was in a tizzy. We were down. We were distraught. We were just in our feelings, to be totally honest with you. Then out of the blue, we get the news that Justin Tucker has been accused of assaulting some young ladies at local Baltimore massage parlors. Now, there were 6 young ladies that came forward, and allegedly this didn't happen around the time that we thought that it did. They were saying that he inappropriately touched them. He exposed himself. He left secretions on massage tables. Just a lot of bad behavior that shouldn't go on when a grown man is in a business soliciting things extra that women are not trying to give him. So of course, a lot of people came to his defense saying, listen, innocent until proven guilty. He doesn't seem the type, but you just never know. And we've learned from experience in the past that anything can happen with anybody, no matter how much good they do in the world, no matter how much they portray that they are great individuals. You just never know what secrets, you never know what demons are hiding in that closet. Now, I will say that the Baltimore Ravens have been one of the franchises throughout the NFL in its history that hasn't had too much going on. Now, we've had some incidences with Terrell Suggs, with Ray Lewis, and most notably, Ray Rice. And I think the events that led from what happens in the Ray Rice situation is what have a lot of Ravens fans and a lot of people around the NFL questioning why Justin Tucker is still a Baltimore Raven. Because if we look back in 2014, the events that happened with Ray Rice and his then fiance, it was not a good time or a good look for the Baltimore Ravens in this organization. But what did come out of this was a zero tolerance policy. See it right there, zero tolerance. That's what they said. That led to the Ravens not drafting people with questionable characters. Anything on that background checks, if they weren't squeaky clean, no matter how good you were at football, the Ravens just weren't going to sign you or bring you on this team. Now, with the Ray Rice situation, he did something that he shouldn't have done. He was initially in July suspended for 2 games in 2014. But then when it came to light, the tape, and you actually saw what Ray Rice did, everything changed and he got suspended indefinitely, and the Ravens initially released him. And like I said, after this incident, they decided, hey, we're not going to be down with this. We are going to be one of the first franchises that champions good character over sketchy past. Now, to me, have they taken this a little bit too far? I mean, you can argue that. Even if there's the littlest thing, they may not draft a guy, but I do understand. When you've had the transgressions that the Ravens have had, we've had some spousal abuse, we have alleged murder. I understand that you don't want to shed that light on the world, especially when you're an organization that is known for doing right, that has been one of the best top 10 organizations in football since your inception. And given a negative connotation on the city of Baltimore, I get it, understand it. And then this takes us even further down this rabbit hole. So in 2022, Deshawn Watson decided that he no longer wanted to be a part of the Houston Texans. And after all of this, allegations came out of a whole lot of women in massage parlors stating that he inappropriately touched them. He asked them for certain things. He was just not what a gentleman should be around a woman. And to a lot of people's surprise, listen, Deshawn has been said to be a good character guy throughout his high school career, his college career, and most of his NFL career. He's given houses, he's donated a lot of time and money, so people thought that this guy was a good guy. He was quiet, you didn't see any off-field troubles, you just didn't hear anything bad about Deshawn Watson. But then, once you heard about these masseuses coming out, and then some more, and then some more, Ravens fans had a lot to say, especially once he was traded to the Cleveland Browns, especially when you're dealing with a division rival. We as a fan base had a lot to say about that man before we knew his guilt or his innocence, which we still don't know, but you can speculate. Where there's smoke, there may be fire. So we had a lot to say about him. Little did we know that the saga that was Deshawn Watson would make its way east to Baltimore. So now, after the first set of allegations, here we are, February the 1st, and 3 more women come out with allegations of, you know what, against Justin Tucker. So now things aren't really looking good. And then they start digging into the past. They start bringing up some old stuff, saying, listen, this isn't the first time that this has been brought up against Justin Tucker. The organization knew, the NFL knew, like there has been a lot of buzz about this for a lot of years, and there's been speculation that's been going on since his rookie season. So it wasn't that he rose to fame and then got a big ego and did some other things. They said this has been going on for a while. And I know Justin Tucker made a statement saying this is false. He's never been banned from any institution. The Baltimore Ravens made a statement saying, listen, we're going to look into these allegations, but until then, we're not really saying much. Their publication hasn't mentioned anything about this. They'll mention some things about other people getting in trouble, but they won't mention their own. And I understand that you don't want that negative light. You don't want that negative publicity, but you do have to say something. Were you complicit in kind of covering up the fact of what happened with him? Did you know what really went on? Did you speak to any of these young ladies? Or did they come to you saying, listen, something's wrong with your guy, but because he was excellent at football, you swept it under the rug? A lot of people don't know. Ray Rice had a terrible 2013 season. This is why the Ravens had no problem with letting him go in 2014. He just wasn't worth it. So now we go back and we're in 2015. Supposedly there was contact with the Baltimore Ravens. A letter was sent to the organization stating like, hey, you need to get your mans. He's doing some real inappropriate stuff. He's been banned. He can't come through because he doesn't know how to act. And if this is true, if the organization was made aware back in 2015 and they did nothing about it, all of those involved who are complicit with helping cover this up or sweep this under the rug, whatever you want to call it, need to be fired. I don't care if it's your favorite guy, he has to go because this behavior cannot go on in professional football. I don't care if it's my organization. I don't care who it is. If these young ladies spoke out to you and came to you and said, hey, your guy's doing wrong, you said, oh, okay, we'll look into it when we get a chance. That is not the way that you go about things. And for an organization that promotes class and zero tolerance, I would expect more from this organization. Or has all of this been a lie? If they just use this as an excuse to not go out here and do some things on the field that needed to be done. When you draft to bring in certain guys that just haven't hit, you can say, well, we wanted this other guy, but you know, his sketchy past prevented us from doing it. Apparently not, because if somebody brought to you allegations in 2015, that was his 3rd year in the league. And if they brought it to you in 2015, he most definitely was probably doing it in 2014. So you've had some time to investigate, and the Ravens, please don't know about this, because now you could set the franchise back, because if they do find out, there goes some draft picks, there goes some money, maybe there goes some jobs. Who's really to say? And then after the February 1st accusations came out, there were some tweets that resurfaced from 2021 stating that, hey, get your mans. He's been banned from a lot of places because he leaves something that he didn't come in with. And he left it all over the place, if you know what I'm saying. He's been banned, and if some of these things come to light, it could be raps for your boy. But once again, nothing came of it. You had 2015, a letter to the Ravens. You had 2021 with all of these tweets stating that something was going on with him. Why the team did not investigate this, I cannot say. All this is speculation. We don't know if Justin Tucker is guilty, but we have to keep that same energy that we kept with Deshawn Watson. When the first allegations came out with Watson, people were like, I don't know. But when you started seeing more and more and more people come out, now it's like, there may be some truth to this. And the biggest thing for me is none of these women have sued. None of these women have asked for money. And I'm not saying that it is true, but none of them asked for money. They didn't do a shakedown, and they're coming out. And I said the same thing about Deshawn Watson. When you are a professional athlete, you take your body, you take your nutrition, you take your health very seriously. And when you find someone that does an outstanding job, you tend to keep that 1 or 2 people around. You don't go to 16, 20, 30, 40 different people saying, all right, let's see who's best, and then keep going back. That's not how this works. But if it is true, I'm going to need the Ravens to do a whole lot better going forward. And I'm going to need them to bring in people with questionable past. Not certain things, but if they have a little something that they haven't done, like you've gotten a little, like you smoked a little, or you drove a little too fast, or something happened, and you haven't gotten in trouble in years, I need you to let that slide. Because the allegations that are being brought forth today are extremely serious, and there's no place for it in this world. Now, certain things are starting to make a lot of sense. They're starting to gain more traction. I think that the publication that actually brought the story to light let Justin Tucker and his camp know, hey, we coming out with some stuff. We just giving you a heads up. And a lot of Ravens fans didn't know this, and we were wondering why Justin Tucker was missing kicks. Like he was missing extra points, easy field goals, maybe because mentally he wasn't in the game because he knew what was coming down the pike. I don't know, all speculation, but it seems to add up because we thought that, hey, his leg strength is diminishing, his accuracy is going, but after a while, after the allegations came out and he's like, well, it's out here now, I don't have to worry about it leaking, I can just deal with it going forward. That's when he got his mojo back. His swagger is toned down a little bit. You don't see him as boisterous as he used to be. Not like he's sitting on top of the world, he's the king, even though with all of his misses, he's still the most accurate kicker in NFL history. He's still a 7-time Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl in his rookie year. But as of today, February the 16th, 7 more women have come forward and claimed that he did some inappropriate things. So now we are up to 16 women, 16 different women. I know sometimes we like to victim blame or we think that certain people are lying, but it's kind of hard for me to believe that 16 different women decided, hey, we're going to have separate stories and tell what happened to them from Justin Tucker. And some of this stuff does add up, from the tweets from 2021, letter in 2015, his divorce from his wife. Some of these things are coming together. Now, even if one of these allegations is true, even if one, he's done. He's got to go. He cannot be in the NFL. We cannot have a predator being a role model to children. We can't have a predator on TV doing commercials. If he is guilty of all of the things that they say he is, Baltimore Ravens need to do what's right and implement their zero tolerance policy, because apparently they've been ignoring it all this time.